To the guy that thought, let's put carbon on a Range Rover Sport because that'll shave weight, I don't know who you are, but honestly, I really like you. What we have here is the Range Rover Sport SV, and this is carbon, which is really cool, saves a lot of weight. You get a little bit of lower center of gravity, if that helps in an SUV of 2.5 tons. We also get, and this is really cool, they are carbon rims. They're 5,000 euros a piece and they're massive. They're 23-inch wheels. Then we also have probably one of the biggest calipers I've ever seen fitted on a car. They're, I believe, 8-pot, and then we have it on a carbon ceramic disc as well. Overall, we have a really aggressive looking front. We have the SV marks here, and don't really have that much clearance, to be honest, for an SUV, but Range Rover still quotes that this will do equally as well off-road. Let's come around. It's, by the way, this is a bespoke color for the Vega Curation. It's a one-off color. It's only available on this edition, and you'll never see it ever again. I can't imagine what the cost of it is. If we move towards the back, you got a little bit more exciting parts than the regular Range Rover. We have a big carbon diffuser, once again. Tailpipes with carbon as well, because adding carbon around the tailpipe sort of saves weight, I guess. Not sure. I still really like the Range Rover styling overall. I think the letters in carbon doesn't really save weight that much, and they look a little bit tacky. We have the beautiful, beautiful ceramic. That is ceramic, it's not carbon, but a ceramic SV dial. And honestly, the way this thing drives, it might work out, so let's go. So the Range Rover Sport SV, it's a very interesting thing, to be honest. It's a very impressive car, really, because let's start first with some figures. This car weighs 2.5 tons, or normally it weighs 2.5 tons. With the carbon wheels on option and also the carbon ceramic discs, both save about 35 kilos, and so that means that you're saving like 70 kilos of unsprung weight, which is a lot in a car. And if you don't know a lot about weight, unsprung weight is the thing that really helps you a lot in handling. If you reduce that weight, it means that it doesn't flop around. It's something, the weight isn't really as controlled as the rest of the car. And yeah, it gives you a really, the handling improves massively. So it kind of makes sense to put carbon wheels on, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense. I still think they look very good, but you have to hold into account that these wheels, they cost 5,000 euros each, and as an option they're 13,000, so it's a better deal on option, but it's still a lot. And the carbon ceramic discs, they're 9,000 euros as an option, which is a lot as well. And yeah, they work really well. They have the biggest brakes I've seen ever, and they look so cool. They are 8-pot calipers, so they can really hook up to the car. I think I've seen like G figures of 1.1A, so nearly 1.2 G, which is really impressive considering the weight of the car. I think for the weight with everything, it's very hard to find, because Range Rover quotes one weight and it doesn't say if it includes the carbon wheels or not. But looking at other Range Rover Sports, I think we can say that here with this car, I think we're running between 2,420 and 2.5 tons. That's basically it. It's still a massive weight, and it's something that is normally really difficult to control. But when we're driving here right now, I wouldn't say it's very comfortable, but it is surprisingly comfortable. I was expecting it to be a lot harsher and ride bumps a lot more difficult, but honestly, we have a car that soaks up bumps really well in comfort. The steering is really nice in this car. Actually, it's not the lazy but accurate steering that you normally get in a Range Rover, which I really like. I'm a big fan of the way like a Land Rover, Defender, or just the bigger Range Rovers they steer, because they work really well. But here we have a car that it kind of glides over bumps. It doesn't really upset the car that much, which is a really nice thing, I feel. And then the way everything is set up, okay, but the magic really happens thanks to the hydraulic operated air suspension. And this means that there's no anti-roll bars anymore, which saves a further 8 kilograms of weight. And the biggest thing really is that no anti-roll bars means that the car can much more push on each side. And some hydraulic systems, they work a little bit on one side or the other. This one, it works from corner to corner, front to back. It's all interlinked. And the thing is that, it's a really responsive system. There's not a lot of body roll in the car, which normally in a big SUV like this there is. Maybe the center of gravity gets helped by the carbon bonnet. Not sure if that's really a thing, but yeah. Even if we're on this unpaved section here, you can feel some of the bumps, but in general, even though the backing of the seats is quite hard, it's perfectly doable. The only thing that you're really noticing is the vibrations of the underground. But then again, we're in a sporty SUV, and I think these seats, apart from the vegan leather that is there, I don't really like it. It's an option, and it's a no-cost option, and you can select regular leather for the same price. And I really think in a car that it costs this much money, you want to have it with something that feels a little nicer, because the vegan leather, it has a very weird plasticky feel to me, and I don't think it's particularly nice. Back on some tarmac roads again, and the biggest party piece of the Range Rover Sport is the SV mode. And if we have this very cool button in the steering wheel here, and if we push it, the dial glows red, the paddles, they light up red, and here as well, the SV logo, it lights up red. And you can already hear it maybe in the back. The car is like backfiring from the exhaust, and it's genuine noise. It's not fake through the speakers, which I really have to commend Range Rover for doing that. Steering sharpens up, the car lowers a further 15 millimeters. If it wasn't already low enough, it now is, because it really lowers down, and it does get a lot more bumpy. But the biggest thing for me is when you hit the accelerator, you don't get the big jump in the air suspension like you would in a regular Range Rover Sport. And that's because of the hydraulic suspension that I said, is it really works against pitch and roll. I think there's only a 3 to 4 degree of roll with the system like this. It's a very, very powerful engine. This is the 4.4 liter V8, produces 635 horsepower. I think the figures are quoted 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. It's a really impressive thing. I'm going to calm it down a little bit right now. With the hydraulic suspension, it means that the car, even on these all-season tires that it's fitted on, Range Rover quotes it can pull up over 1.1 G, and as a matter of fact, we've already done it. I think I've went to about 1.16 G at once, and it's a really dynamic and capable car. And a lot of the performance SUVs, they don't really make that much sense, because this and that, and it rolls, and it's always quite a compromise. And even I'll admit that even this car is still a compromise, don't get me wrong, but it's a compromise that works really well. I mean, it feels weird saying this because I don't really like performance SUVs. I wasn't really sure what this was about, but the way this drives is just, you don't expect it. You don't expect it to be driving like this, and it's even, especially for a car that's this big, because the new Range Rover Sport is a really big car, and that weighs almost 2.5 tons. For it to corner like it does, and just the way the steering works, is really really nice. I genuinely think that this is nicer than a lot of the steering wheels that are in a lot of other sporty cars these days. The only thing that I'm not too fussed about is the light up pedals. They're a bit tacky to me. It can be cool, but I think also normally they are aluminium, and they feel quite plasticky, and their car is freaking out. No worries, everything's all fine. Yeah, they feel a bit plasticky, and I much more prefer the aluminium pedals, but the way the car moves. You can also then select the modes through here. It's not the nicest thing to select the mode through here, but if you push it and then you have a little further, there's a bit of delay, but then you have track stability control as well. And because I feel with the dynamic traction control on fully, it does compromise the front a lot. So it's going to heavily rely on braking the front and spoiling the experience a bit. If you do push it into the track stability, don't turn it fully off. That's just idiotic, especially on a public road. But then it starts to get a little more playful, and the back also steps out a bit, which I didn't really expect. But yeah, it does then have a little bit of trouble with countering the weight. It's still a big car. I do think it's quite a cool car, as I've said. The only thing for me is, again, as I've said, with performance SUVs, I don't really get the point. I don't get why you're spending on this car, because this car, I believe, is close to 250,000 euros. Because it's a Constellation series, the Vega Curation is called. That's why it has these raven blue seats. It has this bespoke one-off blue color. It's a really cool car, but I think, I haven't been quoted the price with all the options here, but a normal one would cost close to 240 without the bespoke paint and without the blue seats and everything. So I do think it's a lot of money if we're going to 250,000. That sounds like a lot of money, and I think in that segment I'd much rather have a big Range Rover, an autobiography that, it costs less, because I think you can get a good autobiography for about 180-200, save 70 to 80k, and you can get something that's truly sporty as a car on the side. Because the V8 is cool, don't get me wrong, but I think in a car that you're driving daily, it's nicer to have a suspension that's a little more forgiving, and to be honest, 635 horsepower in an SUV, not something you're going to be using a lot on a daily basis. With the big Range Rover as well, you still have the V8 available, same V8 as here, just a little less powerful, 530 horsepower, I believe. Or you can opt for a plug-in hybrid, save a little of money. Not that you're, if you're really looking into the V8, I don't think saving money on fuel is something you're concerned about, but it's something to think about. There's also a diesel, which I personally really like, and I think the diesel really suits the car. The SUVs, they're much more laid back and chill cars, and then trying to make one into an attack dog like this one here, it's a bit weird. Don't get me wrong, it's a really fun car. I think it's a really fun car, but I think it's a bit too expensive. Just around a little bit, but it's a really cool experience. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Range Rover Sport SV as much as I did. I think it's a really cool car, and I have to commend Jaguar Land Rover for pushing the boundaries of what I thought was possible with a weight of this big. Because if we're talking, I'm going to just say a little more on the suspension, because I think this is a really great thing. Is Range Rover did with a weight of 2.5 tons what BMW couldn't, because with the M5 it all feels very harsh, and there's not enough comfort in the suspension. It's just trace too sporty. With the Range Rover Sport, what they put here is quite a comfortable car still, and that's a lot thanks to the hydraulic operated air suspension. I think that what they did here is create a ride that's much better for a car that weighs equally as much. But that's my take on it. I'm going to try and not ruin the carbon rims, because they're a lot of money, and then bring the car back to Jaguar Land Rover. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.